So, dear participant, the delegates, and today's respected guest, the second speaker of the today's session for this online workshop on the topic of the application of industrial engineering in manufacturing and infrastructure. In the morning, we have heard Dr. S.S. Mantha, the former chairman of the AICT, who has spoke on the education 4.0 and elaborate different kind of the aspects as far as the uh, shift from education 4.0 to industry 4.0. Our second session is of Dr. Ravi Kant, who is I will read the biodata of Professor Ravi Kant. Professor Ravi Kant is an associate professor in the Mechanical Engineering Department of SV National Institute of Technology, Surat. He received his PhD degree from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology, MNNIT Allahabad. He has about 10 years of teaching and research experience. His areas of interest include decision sciences, supply chain management, knowledge management, total quality management, and Six Sigma. Dr. Ravikant was also a visiting assistant professor of Industrial System Engineering program of ASEAN Institute of Technology, Bangkok during January 19 to May 19, and seconded by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. He is also a fellow of Indian Institution of Industrial Engineering, NHQ, Mumbai. Yeah, I would like to mention one more thing in that he is also a chairman of Board of Examination of Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering. He has guided 9 PhD students, 48 MTech students, and some students are in progress under his able guidance. He has authored more than 150 research papers published in reputed international journals and conference proceedings. He has authored 2 textbooks on operational research and industrial engineering. He has developed industrial management course in pedagogy framework under the National Mission Project on Education through ICT. Government of India, he has conducted 10 short-term programs and 5 international conferences. He has received award for his research work like top 10 most outstanding researcher in 2017 in India under the category of business management and accounting by Career 360, Special Award 2014, and Dr. J.M. Mahajan Award 2017 for his continuous involvement and innovation development of industrial engineering and its operation and significant encouragement to the industries in India and IIIE. He is actively involved in institute administration and serves as Dean, Student Welfare, Chairman UG Admission, Professor in charge for Institute Security System, Postgraduate in charge for Mechanical Engineering, and many more in his institution, SVNIT Surat. Currently, Professor Ravikant is holding the post of Chairman UG Admission and Professor in charge for the other hospitality, housekeeping, sanitary services in the SVNIT Surat. I would like to invite the Professor Ravikant for this second session of the uh, online workshop. So I welcome Professor Ravikant for this particular session.
So thank you, Shinde Saab.
Yes,
You can unshare your.
Yes.
You can unshare your screen so that I can share the PPT from here.
Yeah, but I will make you as a host now.
Yeah, I will be there for 1 hour at least.
Okay. So you got the rights now, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So please go ahead, sir. Thank you so much. Participant, are you getting the voice?
So, good afternoon to all of you, and thank you, Sindhu Saab, for introduction. Today we are, I am going to discuss the topic that is design for environment.
सर वहां से अनम्यूट कर दीजिए इनको, पार्टिसिपेंट को.
पार्टिसिपेंट को अनम्यूट कर दें.
I am requesting all participants, please unmute yourself, because surround mic, surround.
Probably I did it. कर दिया है सिंधे साहब मैंने. We are going to discuss the design for environment. Basically, you know, the design for environment is not a new term today, but basically, yes, we had lagged into the implementation of these issues, and mostly the bigger organizations are doing. But you know, if you look into the whole economy, there is large amount of smaller organization and MSMEs who are the contributors. Even the people, those who are using the products, they are also damaging the environment. And why it is happening is because the product which we are getting, it is not basically designed for environment, and then when it has to be dumped after its life, there is so many issues are there. One of the major issues for environmental impact is the global warming. So you all are knowing that glaciers are melting continuously, and the whole world is worried that to control this global environment. And you might be knowing that to control this global environment, the developed and developing nation both are working together. And you know, there is some concept of carbon quota. So now earlier this carbon quota concept was mostly it was working into the developed nation, but yes, developing nation also they started working it. I will discuss that what is the meaning of the carbon quota. Then there is the continuous resource depletion. Then there is the biggest issue is the solid waste. See, if you look into a products which you are using today and then after the use, when you dispose of, so you will see in every city there is the place where the waste has to be dumped. You can just think of the small, uh, you can just think of a small example that today we are very in every houses how milk is coming. Milk comes into a plastic packet, and then those packets are immediately thrown into the dustbin, and you don't know where it is going on. So there are so many examples which is contribution to this solid waste. And basically we have to look into design. design of a product such that when it is disposed of, it should be safe. And what are the problem it is coming? That is, the first one is the water pollution. See, if you look into all the industry who is doing the manufacturing activity, so all these industry are polluting the water. It is drainage is going to the drainage. There is minimum treatment of those drainage, and it is going into the seas or the rivers. Then there is the air pollution, and then if you do not take care, then there is will be the issue of land degradation, because water has been polluted, air has been polluted, you had polluted the you had dumped the solid waste. So basically it is contributing to the now, if you look into this issue which I had just now discussed, so many people says, if you ask to the uh, government also, those who are involved into the solid waste management, then they say that it is very difficult to control it, and it is happening since years, so it is problematic. Or many are having a perception that it is basically a material problem. And then there is issue that can we solve this particular problem? And the these problems can be solved using the design for environment concepts. What is basically this design for environment is, uh, it is a method to minimize or eliminate environmental impact of a product over its life cycle. See, if all the products which has been manufactured till its use, and then after its use, so it comprises of the life cycle of the product. So we will discuss that what is the broad life cycle. But if you talk about the environment, then it has to be maintained over entire product life cycle. Life cycle means when you are sourcing the raw material for making that product, when you are manufacturing it, when you are transporting it, then when you are using it, and after the use when you are disposing of. Effective design for environment practices maintains or improves product quality and cost while reducing the environmental impact. So the major issue is that we are not, compromising on quality, and it also be seen that making a product environment efficient, we should not unnecessary increase the cost. Now just this is the screen which purposefully I had put it at the starting. Then what is basically it is happening with the manufacturing or the product which we are using. See, we are having a raw material. So this raw material, uh, this raw material is sourced from somewhere. Then we are manufacturing a product. Then we are assembling it. Then we are consuming it. And then there could be a possible ways that either we can reuse the product, recycle the product, or safely we can dispose the product, or we can manufacture the product. Now, if you look into these cases, where, you know, when we are disposing a product, it is making an environmental impact. Now, how we can design a product which can be reusable, which can be recyclable, which can be remanufacturable, and then if not these three, reusable, recyclable, remanufacture, it can be disposed safely and to minimize the environmental impact. Now, with this particular background, the design for environment becomes very essential. And why it is so is that, when we say design for environment, it is not only a issue that we say that products should be disposed safely. No. We have to see that we are able to control the use of the virgin raw material so that the natural resources can be saved. So materials, once it has been used, can it has been reused, can be recycled, can it be remanufactured, and this is the thought process which is required. Now, if you do not think such type of reusability, recyclability, remanufacturability during a design, then what will be the major impact will be that when you manufactured a product and when it is completes its useful life, so many of the activities is not possible, or at least we should identify that what are the, if not whole product, then we should identify that what are the components of these products could be recycled, what are the components of these products can be reused, or what are the components of these products can be remanufactured. So our whole focus becomes on the design part, where we have to design a product as for the environmental needs. Now, this is the a company, Patagonia, so clothing. So you can search of you can search into the Google also. This is very famous company, and you just look into the year in 1993. This company, what they do, they become a first company to use post-consumer recycled material in their products. And how they had been used is that their fabric garments contains 54% of recyclable polyester content and are 100% recyclable through Patagonia take back system. Now, what this company did is that you buy a cloth, and when you don't feel like using again, you come back to the company, you come back to the company outlet, and you return your return this old product, and then you can, if you wish, you buy it, or some buyback policy has been adopted. See, this is the concept of take-back system, and this company had used in 1993. But today, if you look into the supply chain research, so supply chain research is now more majorly it is focusing towards the how we can take back the product, and a manufacturer who is manufacturing a product, earning a huge profit by making that particular product, then who will be the collectors, who will be the take back of that, so that we can minimize the solid waste. So this is the company, and this is the very nice this one. You can, if you are a students, then you can Google it, and you will find that there are so much literature is available for this particular company, that how they are doing it. Now this is another classical example of design for environment. There is, in our country, there is, tradition that when we have a kids, so what we do, we go and buy a small chair to sit in. And normally, most of the houses, it has a fashion also. In my house also, one small chair is available. But you look into this particular chair, so irrespective of the age, irrespective of the age, people can use the chair. Now again, let us go further. So this is the another one example of design for environment, that is Dunlop recycled Wellington boots. So what they use is that these boots are made of polyurethane, PVC and rubber, and all these materials are the recyclable material. So they are also having a policy that you bring the old boots and then you take the new boots, and then uh, old boots can be reground and remanufactured into the new boots. So this is the very good example where where you can make a shoes which can be recycled. Even if the today also the company Woodland, they are doing it, but yes, nobody is collecting their end. But they are using the cloth of recycled cloth for making the shoes. Then there is the ferry tag bag. So ferry tag, it reuses the material of truck traps, inner tubes and the seat belt for making the bag. So this is very good example where you can reuse the product. Now there is one company, Zenith Interior. So they are making the starters workstation. Now if you can see the picture, this is the office furniture which is used into the most of the offices, and how they had been made of. So it has been made of steel. So 50% of the is the recyclable content. Then aluminum, 45% is the recyclable content. Then they use the MDF. So MDF basically is the wood, uh, uh, pasted wood, which is made from the plant sources. And then they apply the concept of design for assembly. So design for assembly, basically they use the pin, clips and the screw. See, basically, if you use the rivets, so many times it is very difficult to disassemble the things. And when suppose the product get damaged, so rivets are there is only way to remove that, to cut it or to cut it through the weld or somewhere, and it damages the product. So when we talk about the design for environment, So we have to also think of, we see in the perspective that can the product should be dismantled. See, if you look into the motherboards of all these electronics equipments, so in that motherboard there are few items which if you remove it, it can be recyclable. But the disassembly process is very difficult, and especially we do not have a technology to disassemble the motherboard, and because of that reason it is not recyclable. Can you think of a and then let me finish this, and then less energy is used, and since we are using the recyclable and recyclable content and material, so we are going to use the less virgin raw material, and it is basically the concept is the design for environment. See, many things we never think of. Can you think of a situation where we use the cloth, and what is happening with the cloth when we are throwing it or we are giving to somebody else? At some source somebody may be using, but after the certain time, the where this clothes goes. And there is very good effort which is even the textile sectors, they are doing it. Can we come out with the technology who can remove the yarn or threads from the cloth? And if we have a ready reckoner technology, and it is available cheaply, so you can remove the thread or yarn, and then the same can be reprocessed and used into the new cloth. So that is the bigger issues which we will be discussing. Now this is the another one example of design for environment, and this is the car by Daimler Chrysler, and this is 2.5 meter long. And what are the environmental guidelines which has been used? Protection to the environment. They might have used the environmental friendly materials. The vehicle is the energy efficient. So this energy is also one of the important issue. When you design a product, and when it goes into the production, if it consumes more energy, then we cannot say that it is energy efficient. And because of this reason, design for environment is also look into the perspective beyond the design for assembly and the manufacturing. Means you design a product which can be assembled, efficiently assembled and manufactured, and then the next stage you can think of the introduction of design for environmental concepts. So this is the, or vice versa, the things can be possible. Now this is also one of the example of bathroom, Karuma Smart Flush. Now we are not worried on that particular front, and when we go to the toilets, bathroom, we freely pour the water. Now you just think of a building which has been designed for the environment, and then the water is transported to some high-rise building of 30th or 40th floor. So it requires energy. And then if you use more water for flushing, basically you are consuming energy. So the concept of and if you are consuming more energy, then you are damaging anywhere into the environment. And this is the way how water problem, water savings can be done. So if you look into the current toilet suits, they were using the 11 liters plus 50,000 liters, and now it has been minimized to 35,000 liters. So such type of innovations are required. Now this is also a one example of design for environment. Basically, if you look into the x-axis, where the raw material, manufacturing, operation, logistics, use, and end of life practices. So this is basically a life cycle of a mobile product, life cycle of a mobile. And then if you look into the impact, their impacts on the entire life cycle, and the impact can be the waste, use of hazardous material, water, energy, and total environmental impact. So if you see it, the total environmental impact is higher, or we say highest, during the component manufacturing. So basically, if you look into the figures, so this cross which is available there, so 3 cross are available for waste, then 3 cross of energy, and then 2 for this. So can our design can minimize the waste, can minimize the use of hazardous material, can minimize the use of water during the manufacturing, can consumes less energy for manufacturing. Can we think of? So that is basically the prime concern when we are going into the subject of design for environment. Now, if you want to study this design for environment, हेलो वृंदा जी, हाँ बोलिए बोलिए बोलिए। मैं आने वाला तो हूँ, लेकिन क्लास चल रही है, आप भेज दीजिए ना, मैं कर दूंगा। हाँ हाँ ठीक है। नहीं नहीं, जीएसटी पे आप इंक्लूडिंग कर दीजिए ना। हाँ वो ज्यादा सही रहेगा। हाँ तो जीएसटी जैसे कोटेशन दिया है वैसे ही आप बना दो। हेलो, सॉरी। नाउ what is the sustainability? So for the sustainability, we have 3 pillars. So you might be knowing or not knowing, but there are 3 pillars, that is economical, social, and environment. Now, if you want to design a system, so it should, which is environmental friendly. So it should be efficient on economical level. It should not impact the society, and it should not impact the environment. Now I was talking for this product life cycle. So what is basically the product life cycle is? See, if you look into the product life cycle, so it starts with the extraction of raw material, then we are designing a product, then we are packaging and distributing it, then we are using it, and during the use it can be maintained, and then there is three issues. One is that either the material can be disposed of, or we can recover some material which after the reuse and recycle, then it can be used as a raw material for the next stage, or we can recycle the materials or the component, and then there is the route of reuse also. Now, what is the important aspect looking into that is, the important aspect is that you try to see that when the product is used, so after the life cycle of completion of the life cycle, so three things, if it is possible, either it can be reusable, recyclable, or remanufacturer, it is fine. If it is not possible, then you see it that when it is disposed of, so it should not harm to the environment. And the approach is known as the cradle to grave approach. You can google it and you will find that there are so many. There is one author who has written a book of cradle to grave, cradle to grave approach. There are many examples, but I will skip it. This is that company which is known as the Toms, and this was established by one of the traveler who was traveling to the Argentina, and he found that there are so many children, they are not wearing the shoes. So he came out with the company, and today he has denoted almost 60 million shoes to the children around the world. And why this company is so important in this area is that because their whole business is sustainable, recyclable, and recyclable and use of the used materials. Then our own Indian company, Wipro Eco Efficiency. This is also a company who is helping many of the small corporates to manage the efficient use of product while the manufacturing. And then the major issue is that to reduction of the carbon footprints. This is the Suzuki effort for the design for environment. So they are promoting the reduce, reuse, and recycle 3R concept into their organization. Now, this was the thing which I was talking. That was the cradle to grave approach. So this is the book which is written by William McDonough and Michael Borngret. So you read this book. I think it is available in the Google also. Now this we had already discussed about the product life cycle, where production, distribution, use, disposal, and the material, and then production is happening. But this is the very interesting slide where we have two life cycles. What is this two life cycles are? The first life cycle is the cycle for industrial product life cycle, and then the second cycle is the natural bio life cycle. Now, if you have to sustain, if you have to design a product for an environment, so you cannot think of the only one life cycle. You have to think of the natural bio life cycle also. And what is the major contribution of this natural bio life cycle is that suppose when we are producing, distributing, and we are recovering it, so if the product can be recycled or remanufactured. So it can goes to the next level where it can converted into the material and then it can be used. But the think of a product which cannot be recycled and remanufactured, then the disposal is the important issue. Now when we think of disposing a product, so what is the important aspect of the product disposal is that it should have a natural decay. Uh, Means the product which you had, the product which you are disposing of, it should go into the nature from where it is coming. And then this concept is very difficult, but yes, not impossible, not impossible. And such things can be taken care during the design only. Now, this is the one example of design for environment, and this is the very, company which is named as Dell. Everybody knows. So, what kind of requirement, what kind of things they are doing? So, during design and the building, they are having the uh, use of precautionary use of chemical and the materials, because in computers there are in many cases it is not possible to remove the hazardous material. Still it is coming. Then we should Dell thinks of the energy efficient product design, then they thinks of the renewable energy, then they try to avoid waste avoidance and recycling. Shipping also, they try to see that if the product is shipped, then it should be sustainable, renewable packaging material, efficient configuration for small transportation footprints. So this is also a important issue, because when the product is shipped from one place to other place, so it goes with either road, air, or the rail or the ship transport. And all these transport system emits the carbon, because they run on the fuel. So this is also they try to take care. Then recyclable and compostable material, means the packaging can be recycled and the compostable. Now, while they use they see that the energy efficient use of hardware and software, fresh air compatible data center equipment, energy smart features, and then reuse and recycling. So Dell is mainly they are responsible for recovery and disposition options. See, normally in our country it is not there, but the country like US, so it is the manufacturer responsibility to collect the items when it is used in many cases. This is another one example of the design for environment of this is, I think, Apple phone. So there is if you go to the Apple website, you will find that in all their Apple products, you try to introduce the design for environment in that. And basically those things are appealing to the customers also many times. This is another one example of Herman Miller. So this is the Setu chair. Setu chair which has been designed by this particular company, and I will not go into description of this particular chair, but what they did we are more important. Now, if you look into the three chairs which is available, that is Aeron, Mirar, and the Setu. Now, if you look into this particular chair, you will find that the chair is not having so much complex, so much complex mechanism as these other chairs are there. Even if you look into their sitting arrangement and the rest arrangement, it looks robust than what these chairs were used. Now, if what this design for environment, and if you look into the case study says that in these chairs there are so much hazardous materials were used, and then the mechanism were used in where uh, going out of order after a certain time of use, and people throw those chairs. Even many of us we buy जरा वो लाओ ना sign कर. Many of us we buy a revolving chair, and if you see that particular chair, so after some time the revolve mechanism or tilt mechanism goes off. So what basically we do is that we will keep somewhere as it is not usable, and then it creates the waste into this one. But this company had designed a chair in such a way that they were able to come out with the most of the drawbacks of this chair. And the major contribution was their tilt mechanism. If you look into it down, there is only one spring. There is only one spring for the tilt mechanism. Now, what was the what was the what was the important thing was that they have a zero landfill. All the materials mostly were uh, uh, disposable, decomposable. Then zero hazardous waste, zero air emission during the manufacturing, zero processing water, 100% green electricity was used, 100% sales from design for environment. So this is the way how these companies, and this was I was talking for the tilt mechanism. There is only one spring which has been made. Now, this is the LCA assessment, life cycle analysis assessment, and then they find out that what are the compositions which were available into this particular chair. Was the 41% aluminum, it is recyclable; 41% polypropylene, it is recyclable; 18% steel means non-toxic. Then the recyclable by 44% of the weight, 23% of the post-consumer, 21% of the post-industrial. Then there are the so many things which has been this one. My issue is only one, that if the corporates have the commitment, they can really make the things easier for the society and easier for the nature. And yes, it requires some portion of some effort on the R&D and then there is it requires some advancement during the at the material side. This is another one. This is another one example of. This is another one example of Nike shoe. So this is the company who is using the recyclable material. So this is I will skip off. So this is another one example of Puma using a bag which is design of a bag which is having a very small material which will be used for the making a bags. So through which, and the box is box. Yes, yes. Tell me. Somebody raise hand so I can able to answer. Okay, fine. Now we are going to the subject where if you look into the normal design for environment process. So what is the design for environment? Design product development process is basically it is available in all types of the industrial engineering books. So if you any books, you will find that there is the product development and design, product design and development chapter is there, where this product development process is there. How the product development process starts? It starts with planning, concept development, system level design, detailed design, testing, and the product roadmap. Now, how this design for environment is used into this particular is that this is the slide. Now, what we have to do is that, see, if you look into the left-hand side, product planning, concept development, system level design, detailed design, process improvement, this is the conventional design process. Now, what do you have to do as a design for environment is that you have to set an agenda for design for environment. Now, if I gave you the example of the Setu chair, or I gave you the many examples of like Dell we talk of, or Patagonia we talk of, or any of the example which we talked of just now. So, you know, in all the cases, we cannot make 100% design for environment product. What we can make is we can you know what we can do is that we can design the part, we can set a agenda that which of the things which have to take care. Now, once we have thought for the design for environment, then you try to identify a potential environmental impact. If you can remember the slide of Nokia, where at the bottom side there was the product life cycle, and on the y-axis there was the impacts was there, and I told you that environmental impact is higher during the production. So but yes, the environmental impact at the various product life cycle was there. So you try to identify it. So unless you identify the potential environmental impact, you cannot go for the next stage. So the next stage is that you have to select a material and design for environment guidelines. So material is one of the important things. So we have to, the material selection also is having a criteria. See, many times, you know, if you look into a product which is available into the market, so what they do is that they try to mix the toxic and non-toxic materials, and they make the product. And what happens is that at the later stage, it is very difficult to separate those materials, or the materials which has been manufactured using the composites. making the different composition, and then we are making a product. So such things should be such things should be thought of in the way so that we can minimize the environmental impact. So this is the design for environmental guidelines. Then you have to apply those guidelines, and then you have to initiate the design. Then you have to again you have to assess the environmental impact. So you have an environmental impact at the initial stage, so you do. And for design, for assessing the environmental impact, there is the software which is known as life cycle assessment software. So you feed the data, you will get it the thing. So this is there. Then you compare the DFE goals. So whatever the goals you had set during the agenda, during the first stage of the product planning. So if it is satisfied, then it is fine. Otherwise, then you go for the processing. And if it is not satisfying, then you have to redesign, and then you have to assess the uh, impact again. Now let us come to the first step, that what is the you have to set the agenda. Now for setting the agenda for design for environment, there is three important things. So what are those important things? The important things are the drivers, goals, and the team. Now if you look into the drivers. So drivers are basically it can be the internal driver, and it can be the external driver. Now, what are the internal driver is that product quality, then product image, cost reduction, and innovation. Now, then operational safety, employee motivation, ethical responsibility, and consumer behavior. Now, I will not go with all, but let me explain you the thing is that, see, unless otherwise somebody has been, or organization has been carried away, or organization has been motivated to introduce the design for environment concept in their product. So the implementation cannot be possible. You cannot design a product. Suppose you have a product, if you want to apply a design for environment concept, so unless otherwise you are having a driver, so it is not possible. And in case of internal driver, that is product quality. Means if I think that if I introduce a environmental criteria into our product, so the quality of product will improve in terms of their functionality, reliability, and durability, and repairability. My public image of the company will be changed. It will be, people will say that yes, he is green companies. And then if you look into the same example of this Setu chair, so you will see that you might have seen that they had made this chair very simple. So what has made it that, see, since the chair was simple, so the cost of material has been saved, and then the cost of energy has been saved during the manufacturing, and then the innovations, then the safety. So if you feel that if the worker or the staff will try to understand that we are using a toxic material, and if we can design a product which can eliminate the toxic material, so then the employee will be motivated. Then and moreover, at present it is now ethical responsibility, because this planet is not a responsibility of one, two, or few governments. So it is the responsibility of everybody, and corporate has to come forward, because the major damage to our environment is happening due to the manufacturing. Manufacturing, it includes all, even construction also. Construction also, if they use a concept of design for environment, so the dust and other things which is spreading into the cities can be avoided. If companies follows those, it can be avoided. Now external driver, so somebody who is not following it, so we can come out with the legislation. You can create a market demand. Now how market demand will be created? So government may come forward by giving subsidies to the environmental friendly product, in the way they did it through Achhe Urja scheme on subsidy providing on the these solar panels. So mostly in the Gujarat, most of the houses are using the solar panels, which has been supported by the government, and then yes, they are contributing to the grid also. So the power goes to the grid. Excess power which has been generated, it goes to the grid. People get this. Then you try to create a competition. Then trade organizations, suppliers, social pressure can motivate the companies to adopt the design for environment. Now the second part is the goals. So some of the goals I will just read out. Like, if the life cycle stage is material, so what is the goal is that reduce the use of raw materials. Choose plentiful renewable materials. So you try to see that materials can be recycled, reused. So it is very useful, very efficient way of design for environment. Eliminate the toxic material. So you try to eliminate the toxic material. Reduce discards and the waste. So this is some of the environmental goals which can be decided by the company. Suppose if I am not able to eliminate the toxic material, can I minimize the toxic material? Fine. If I cannot minimize the toxic material, can we think of reducing the discards and the waste? Can we use the recovered and the recycled material? See, in India, slowly the secondary market is coming into picture, where these remanufactured products will openly sold into the market. And if you look into the mobiles which is happening, the companies who buy back the mobile or replaces the new mobile with the old mobile, they do certain level of refurbishment, and that again that mobile is sold into the market. So that is basically, for a one consumer, we could be able to sell the same thing and we had saved the material. Now a company cannot do all, but can the company think of doing 1, 2, or 3, or 1 at least? Then production. Reduce the use of process materials, specify process material that can be fully recovered, eliminate toxic materials, select processes with high energy efficiency, reduce scrap and the waste. So if you have a improved processes, so at least the reduction of the use of process materials and reduce production scrap and waste can be minimized. Even a simple energy audit and monitoring can can make the processes energy efficient. So you have to decide the goal. So in the case of distribution, so reduce emission of transport. So you use a system who is which can minimize the carbon emission. And there are many, like like suppose the rail transport is basically more efficient, more energy efficient, or less producing less emission than the 1 minute. Then eliminate and reuse of packaging. This is slowly these things are happening. If you look into the 10 years back, the distribution system of the LPG cylinders. Today, the distribution system has been purely changed. So earlier, from the seashore, trucks starts and they goes to the end customer. But now mostly the pipelines, and the cities where the pipelines are not there, so there is the nearest depot from where the gases are filled, and then the distributed into the society. So this is basically how we can this is basically how it can be services can be designed. Then during the use, so you try to see that the major thing is that you try to see that the maintenance can be the minimum. The product life cycle can be much extended. Means it should not be happen that we buy a product and it goes out of order, and then if it goes out of order, then it is gone. So basically, as a consumer, I can buy again, but what will happen to that particular product which has I brought, and there are so much processing and the material has been used. And then the last one, that is the recovery. So see, can we facilitate a product disassembly to separate the materials? So this is the very hot issue, that you can we do that? So it is possible that you make a product in such a way that it should be made of only one material, means one component, one material, if possible. Not possible, then you try to see that the not more than one or two material is mixed to make that. Then can we facilitate the recycling? Then recovering and remanufacturing of the product. See, basically, if you look into the refrigerator, so if refrigerator goes out of order after its service life, nothing happens to the compressor. So that compressor can be reused. So like that, if the automobile is there, the gear may have its life, but gearbox, nothing happens. So can those things can be thought of? And if you really think on that particular line, so you will be able to set the goal. But whatever the slide I had shown, it is very limited. There are many, but my idea is that at least you focus few of the things in one shot, and which company can do. See, it is not possible to replace all the material immediately material to the new material. Not possible, because our processes are set, our machines are procured. So can we make other things other than the material replacement? And then it is possible. Then who can lead the this particular DFE set? So you should have a DFE leader, design for environmental leader. Then we should have a environmental chemistry, then manufacturing engineers. Then you should have a representative from purchase and supply chain organization. So basically, it is better to have a people from all of the areas, because by keeping in the mind of the concurrent engineering. So design for environment is the one aspect, but let us not make it as the conventional engineering design. It should be a concurrent engineering design, that any people can be contacted at the any time. Now you try to identify the potential environmental impact. So these are the same way it has been prepared. Same way it has been prepared, like for the materials. So if I have a question, how much, what type of recyclable material will be used, how much, what type of non-recyclable material will be used, how much, what type of additive will be used. So if you come across with such type of the reasoning, then the problem is solved. So see, the designing is a very innovative process. Everybody cannot, all of us cannot do that. But yes, if you think on that particular line, at least if you find a material and then you just think of whether it is recyclable and non-recyclable, you cancel it the non-recyclable material if it is not mandatory to use, right? Now the second case where the production is happening, so how many and what type of production processes will be used, how much, what type of auxiliary materials are needed, how high the energy consumption will be. So all these points should be answered when we are going for the design for environment. Then on the similar line, there is the questions for the distribution. Then there is the questions for the use. So what will be the lifetime of the product? How much maintenance and repair will come? See, suppose lifetime is shorter, maintenance and repair is higher. There is no question of making such product, even it is its environmental impact is low. You are getting my point. A product which is having a low environmental impact, but the lifetime is very shorter. Lot of maintenance and repair is going to be happen. So you have to think of. Then there is the same way, it is the question for the recovery. See, this is the lifetime impact, which is in the cover of your laptop. So you will just see the material intensive product impact. So it is having, but if you look into the automobile, the impact is higher impact in the use. So if you are designing a automobile, so our whole focus should be on environment. I mean, operations, how efficient we can design a system which can consume less power, less energy. But if you think of a product like this, so material is one of the important issue. So like that is way how it has been taken care. Now the third stage is that third stage is the design for environment guidelines. So there are many guidelines which is available, like sustainability of resources, specify renewable and abundant resources. So uh, better design is that where the resources are renewable and abundant. So which are scarce resources, you will always stuck up, because material availability can be the one of the issues. And if the material is recyclable, it is more attractive to us. Then healthy and inputs outputs. So you try to see that we are using the non-hazardous material, install protection against release of pollutants, and the suppose if it is compulsory that hazardous material or the substances has to be used as a material, then you should have a protection. Then how somebody will know that it is hazardous and it is non-hazardous? The labels are coming. Even you find a product, buy a product, so if it is recyclable, so that recyclable sign has been put. If it is hazardous, so black hazardous sign has been put. So this is now the practices are started. Then the minimum use of resources. So how the minimum use of resources can be, how the minimum use of resources can be possible? So you just try to see that you should not have a long manufacturing process steps. You specify the materials that do not require surface treatment. See, if I have to make a cupboard and then of a steel, so I can think that the outer part can have a higher finishing than the back side, because back side has to be there there towards the wall. Even if you look into your utensils will have a higher finish on the outer side, but the finish will be lower at the lower side. So that means unnecessary if suppose machining has to be done, so unnecessary machining should be avoided. And because if you do unnecessary this one, then the energy consumptions will be there, and then the non-efficient processes you will be coming across, and then it can be not be environmental friendly product. So that is basically on the similar way during the distribution and use the guidelines has to be followed. So that is some of the things which I can read. So in case of distribution, use the recyclable or reusable packaging materials. So this is the way how it has to be. Then this is the long list. Even the list is more than that. So some of the portions I had just used it. Then you apply a design for environment guidelines to design a product. So you had selected a goal, you had decided the impact, then you decided a material, then you design a product. And after doing this product design, then the next stage is that you have to next stage is that again you have to go for the assessment of the next stage is that you have to go for the life cycle assessment of a product. And then you see that whatever the goal which we had set for a product into the particular category, whether it is met or not. So if it is not met, then you have to again think again for the step 3, where the things has to be again redefined, and then you can do that. You can again do the life cycle assessment, and if goal is met, so you can manufacture a product and then it can be used. So this is the way how it has been. It has to be taken up. So we say that it is difficult, but it is important, and then it is our responsibility to have a product which is having a lesser impact on the environment. And everybody has to be work hard in this one, that business and entrepreneurs, scientists, engineers, and the designer and the researchers. So if everybody will come together, then only the things will be. So everybody has to be take the own the responsibility for that. So uh, I will hand over this to the शिंदे साहब. सर आप सुन रहे हैं मेरी आवाज? So thank you all for your patience hearing. Thank you all for your patience hearing, and this I want to tell you. There are so many things I skipped because it was not very much useful to you. But at least this particular area is having a wide scope to work on that. Either you are a researcher, or you are a UG student, or you are a PG student. So I had already completed it. So I thank you all of you for patience hearing, and I thank you Professor Vilas Sindeji, who had given me this opportunity to speak in front of you. And yes, I will share the PDF of, yeah, I will unmute all.
हेलो
यस
सर, आवाज आ रही है?
आ रही है, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी जी आ रही है सर।
शिंदे साहब, वो होस्ट आप चेंज कर लीजिए।
हाँ चेंज नहीं, आपको ही करना पड़ेगा सर उधर से।
कहाँ से करूं?
ये कहीं होगा उधर?
हाँ, आपका जो ये है, मेरे नाम के सामने जाइए।
आपके नाम के सामने, ओके।
उधर
हाँ।
उधर 3 पॉइंट है, उधर 3 पॉइंट है।
हाँ,
वो 3 पॉइंट में जाके आपको 4-5 ऑप्शन में एक दिखेगा, ट्रांसफर द होस्ट।
आपका नाम जो लिखा हुआ है वो?
हाँ बस विलास शिंदे। उसके सामने 3 पॉइंट है, 1 2 3 ऐसे 3 पॉइंट है।
हाँ, तो
वहां पे ऊपर से देखिए आप, मैक होस्ट।
शायद आप हो गए, वो कर दिया।
Yes, thank you. So I would like to sum up, sir, and then we will take a few questions. Unfortunately, I want to make you co-host, but I have made you host, and I don't want to disturb during the meeting. So one or two participant was waiting, they miss your session. Anyway, but we will
काफी लोगों को, many of people I admitted, sir. Continuously I was admitted.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, Dr. Ravikant. You have given a complete flow of the design of environment as far as the product life cycle is concerned. As far as my knowledge is concerned, I would like to add on two things. There are tangible and intangible product, correct? Now, suppose we are online, so this is the kind of intangible product which we are using for the purpose of this session, online session. But we are talking about the tangible product. There are so many examples of the goods products which we can take. And obviously there is some process by which we have to dispose of the product. There are in between some kind of process where we have to extend the life of the product. If suppose we can take the example of if suppose we can take the example of the particularly man. If suppose man is a product, but after his death, we used to dispose of that by virtue of rituals. So that is the one of the example. So you have given a very right flow as far as the environmental aspect is concerned, because nowadays we are so much concerned about the environmental friendly products, and therefore there is a need of design of the products as far as the environmental aspects are concerned. You have also given a very nice flow to this particular session as far as the environment is concerned, about the natural resources which those are available to us, that is water, raw material, nature, and from which it comes to the complete life cycle. And during this we have to have a look at this. We have to have a economical aspect, social aspects, and environmental environmental aspects that you have very certainly and very nicely elaborated for the understanding of the students. During this journey of this particular product, we have to look at the our this will also look at the wastage, energy, water. So that's why you have given a very nice flow to the complete presentation in the topic of the design of environment, the design concept of product and process with respect to the environmental aspects. And that's why the nowadays, as far as we are going into the 4.0 industry, and some the kind of the natural the resolutions which is by the government, and that's why the design aspects as far as the environment is concerned is more important. So I am requesting the students as well as the delegates, you please raise your questions, so we can the sir can answer the questions. Please, Dr. Jadhav, Professor Mangesh Jadhav.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please ask the question. You have raised the question.
Yes, sir.
Participants are requested to raise their hand if they want to ask the question. So I
Sir,
can get to the chat mode, and then we can one by one we can go ahead. Yes, yes, Professor Mangesh.
good afternoon, Ravikant, sir. Good afternoon, HOD, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask, now design for environment is a very recent and developing field. So I wanted to know if there is any particular startup opportunities in this field.
Actually, you know, this is not at the initial stage. This design for environment is not at the initial stage. Initial stage because we are not aware. There are so many companies who are doing it. Today only for the class I was doing the Google. So I found out around 15 startups who are basically working for the design for environment, maybe small contribution, but yes, they are doing it. There are many few startups we know at Vadodara who are only involved into the take back of the product and recycling it. So there are a lot of opportunities there if somebody who wants to enter inside. See, today today we do not have a starters who can think of into the solid waste management. So there is lot of approach, and it is possible that you can work on that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Usha madam,
Yes, sir.
Professor Usha Pawar, please raise your question.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have two questions from student Uddhav Salvi, who is a third year B division mechanical student. He wanted to know, do smart materials can be a good thing to be used further in making products, because smart materials are more efficient towards the physical to environment.
See, actually, material has become now smart material.
Yeah.
Now, issue is that we can use the smart material, but the thing is that we have to use a material in such a way that the cost of product should not increase. Because these
Exactly,
smart materials, any of the smart materials which are developed for the particular use, and they are costly. So you use a material. See, the simple way to understand is that if the pure aluminium can be used to making a product, then why to use alloy there? You are getting my point,
exactly.
madam.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that is only issue punchline we have. See, suppose a pure metal can work. Pure metal can give enough strength to why to make a product of the alloy, because its alloy is not a problem, but the separation of alloys after the useful life is the problem,
Yes, yes.
and that basically the design for environment says.
Yeah, okay, sir. Sir, one more question I have from the same student. Can DFE bring impact on students on architecture or civils or instrumental designers department? Is that having any impact on the students' architecture?
Probably, this design for environment is a broader area, and it can be used in any of the field. Like it can be used into the construction also. Even if you want to design a service, so design for environment is used. I will give you the one example where, if you look into back some 10-15 years back, so the paint shop were maintaining lot of inventory, but they came out with the system of pigments, and if you go to the paint shop, immediately they were able to give you the paint of particular color which you want. So that is basically you can how efficiently you can use a system, so that is important.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I think our student have satisfied with the answers. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Professor Dheeraj.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. There is a question from Sumit Naherkar. He want to ask that from environment point of view, it's good to use recycled material, but does it not the compromise with the quality of the product?
See, you may not be knowing it. See, there is the huge market in India and across world for the recyclable products. And recyclable materials are now in practice to use. So it is not impacting the quality of a product. Even from 4 or 5 years to downline in India also, you will find a huge market of such type of product. Openly they will be sold as a remanufactured product, reused product, and like this. So quality doesn't matter. Who controls the quality? Quality controls the process, because unless otherwise that material is fit to produce, somebody will not produce. So that is not a much impact.
Sir,
Yeah.
there is a one more question. What will be the effect on the cost and the energy required for the recycling as compared to the manufacture that particular product with the help of normal procedure?
See, I will give you answer in other way. See, if you do not recycle the material, then what you are going to do? You are going to use a virgin raw material.
Yes.
So one day where the resources will be depleted, from where those materials will come. Yes, the energy is required, but the energy requirement against that the virgin raw material is very less. And even you can develop a energy efficient processes to recycle it. See, if you go back to 10 years back with the recycling technology which we have, and now which we have the recycling technology, it is having a huge difference. Right.
Sir, there is a Professor Kolishetty from Civil Department, I think. Sir, please ask your question, Professor
Yes, sir.
Kolishetty.
Yes, sir. Sir, what is the immediate strength of these products, and also what about the durability in a long term?
Sir, I will put back to the question that earlier we were using the concrete bricks, or we were using the soil bricks, but
Correct,
now
sir.
we are using the fly ash bricks. So it is not the case that if something which has been made from the recyclable material or the reused material or the disposed material, it will have a lower strength. As an engineer, we can try to see that when we are using such type of material, we should see that we should maintain the strength. So there is ways to do that. I think I am able to satisfy you, or I don't know.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, okay.
Okay. So I think there is no question now. I will request sir, at the last but not least, Dr. Ravikant, in this busy schedule, because I know that you are staying in the campus, and SVNIT is the government organization, central government organization, where there are so many kind of the meetings and so many kind of activities which is continuously going on, which probably that way we the people a little bit relaxed. Only we have to interact with the students during our lectures hours in a day. But during having a administrative responsibility to you, and out of that particular responsibility and the time schedule, you try to find out the time, and you have spent the complete 2 hours for giving the complete your thought process and the understanding to the students as far as the design for environment is concerned, is very nice and appreciating. Sir, I would like to thank you so much on behalf of the Datta Meke College of Engineering. I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Just a moment, sir. Just a moment. I would like to thank you on behalf of the Datta Meke College of Engineering. I would like to thank you on behalf of the III DMC student chapter. I would like to thank you on behalf of my all faculties, the delegate, those are online to listen you, and also on behalf of my personal, I would like to thank you so much. Your inputs are very valuable and guidance. This is the just sort of token of love which I would like to give you online, because this is the way of the doing the things. Of course, online we have to remove so many formalities, but as a trend, I have done it. Thank you so much, Ravikant sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Sindhu sir. Thank you.
Thank you.